This video lesson will be reviewing how to solve equations. We're going to go through a few tips on how to solve equations, and then we'll be applying that with examples. So remember, when you are solving an equation, you are trying to solve for the variable. So you want to isolate the variable, which is usually x. So you want to get your x by itself on one side of the equal sign, like this, and then you want whatever the answer is, the number on the other side of the equal sign. That's our goal. So a few tips. First one, if you have brackets in your problem, then you should always start by expanding. So for example, if you have this, 2x bracket 3x plus 1 equals negative 4 bracket x minus 2. Remember, the operation between the coefficient and the bracket is multiplication. So in order to remove the brackets, we simply expand. So we do 2 times 3x, that's 6x, 2 times 1, so plus 2, equals, now we have negative 4 times x, that gives us negative 4x, and negative 4 times negative 2, that gives us positive 8. And then from here you could continue to go on solving. The next tip is that if you have fractions in your equation, you want to get rid of those fractions. And we do that by finding a common denominator to eliminate the fraction. So for example, if you had this, x plus 3 over 2 plus 2x minus 1 over 5, and it's all equal to 6. So here we have two fractions, and actually we can write the 6 as a fraction. If it's a whole number, it just means it's over 1. So we need a common denominator between 2, 5, and 1. So our common denominator in this case is going to be 10. So what do I need to multiply the 2 by to get 10? Well, that would be 5. So we're going to multiply the 2 by 5, and if we do that to the bottom, we have to do it to the top. Over here, this 5, well, we'll multiply by 2, same thing on top. And the 1, what do we need to multiply to make it 10? Well, that would be 10. So we're going to multiply the 1 by 10, and on top as well. So that will give us, I'm just going to write it over here because I've run out of room. We're going to have to multiply everything here by the 5. So 5 times x, that gives us 5x. 5 times 3, that gives us 15. Over my 2 times 5, that's 10. Plus, we'll do the next one, 2 times 2x, that gives us 4x, minus 2 times negative 1 gives us 2 over 10, equals, and then I get my 6 times 10, that's 60 over 10. Now, since I have a common denominator over every fraction, they just cancel out. And I'm just left with this equation, 5x plus 15 plus 4x minus 2 equals 60. And that is an equation that's much easier to handle. The next tip would be, well, you want to always simplify your equation by collecting like terms. So if we look at this example, we can see that the 5x and the 4x are like terms. If we put those together, that gives us 9x. I'm going to write it down for our next example. And then we have the 15 and negative 2. We put that together, that gives us plus 13 equals 60. Now the last tip that I have here is, well, when you're trying to isolate your variable, you're going to perform the opposite operations to eliminate your terms, and you're going to perform the opposite operations to remove coefficients. And remember, whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side. So if we look here, we're trying to get this x by itself. We have to remove this plus 13, and we have to remove this times 9. The first thing you're going to do is get rid of any other term. This is one term. We're going to leave it as is for now and get rid of the others. So we're going to get rid of this plus 13. Well, the opposite operation of plus 13 is minus 13, so I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. So I'll get 9x equals 47. And then to get rid of this times 9, I'll do the opposite. I'll divide by 9 on both sides. So just write the answer over here. I'm left with x equals 47 divided by 9. Now this won't divide evenly, so you can leave it as a fraction in lowest terms, or you can write it as a decimal. This gives us actually 5.2 repeating. So I'll put a little dot there to indicate that it's repeating. Now let's look at a few other examples. What I would like you to do now is to pause the video and try example A and example B on your own. I will show you the final answers after. I want you to try them and show all your work, and I'll show the final answer. If you don't get the correct final answer, then you'll need to go back and try the examples again and try to find your mistake. If you have trouble finding your mistake, then we will discuss it in class. So please pause the video now and try these examples. Okay, so hopefully you've tried these examples, and for A you should have gotten 0.5 or 1/2, and for B you should have gotten 4/9 or 0.4 repeating. For this last example, I'm just going to start it for you. We've already done one like this at the beginning when we were going over the tips, but I'm just going to start this one for you, and then I'm going to ask you to finish it. So since we have fractions, we need to find a common denominator. So my denominators are 2 and 3, so my common denominator in this case is going to be 6. So I'm going to multiply the 2 here by 3 to make it 6, so I'm going to do that to the top as well. Remember, it's everything on the top that will be multiplied by 3. This one will be multiplied by 2. Same thing, we'll multiply everything on top by 2, and here also by 2. So we will apply the 3 to everything in the bracket. So we get 3x plus 6 over 6 plus 2x minus 2 over 6, and it's going to equal 2 times x, that's 2x, over 6. Now since it's a common denominator, the denominator cancels. So this is the equation you're left to solve. So I'll ask you to finish solving this and bring it to class. We'll discuss it next period.